for the purpose of determining the guilt or innocence of the respondent, no? So for today, we acted on the motion for the issuance of subpoenas. Medyo madami yon. We are issuing subpoena to the Ombudsman with respect to the SALN, and then the COA with respect to the documents on confidential fund, and the BIR also with respect to income tax returns, and the SEC with respect to the general information sheet and audited financial statement of certain business establishments of the respondent, as mentioned kanina ni Congressman Ridon during the raising of his motion, no? We also acted in favor of the request for protective custody of witness Ramil Madriaga. We are also issuing subpoena ad testificandum to certain witnesses named by Congresswoman De Lima, no? Among those witnesses, of course, is Ramil Madriaga. So we expect to hear his testimony on our next hearing that will be on April 14. Now, about the letter of the Respondents' Council, the use of mini-trial, the term mini-trial, is only to help the public distinguish the proceeding before the Justice Committee vis-a-vis the trial which will happen in the Senate, no? Definitely, this impeachment proceeding before the Justice Committee, particularly the hearing proper, is tantamount to a preliminary investigation. And therefore, there will be clarificatory hearing as distinguished from a trial that is for the purpose of determining the existence or non-existence of probable cause. If you try to imagine, kung walang clarificatory hearing, how are we going to decide on the existence of probable cause? We should remember that in the decision of the Supreme Court, Duterte versus House of Representatives, we were repeatedly reminded to go over the evidence, to weigh the same, and to make sure even that the House members or the Justice members understand and know the evidence that supports the allegation of offenses and allegation of grounds, no? So in response to the letter of the Respondents' Council, I reiterate that what is happening before the Justice Committee is not a trial. We are very much aware that trial will happen only in the Senate, and that is very clear as well in the Constitution. What is happening before the Justice Committee is a preliminary investigation where there is clarificatory hearing to aid the Justice members in the determination of the existence of probable cause. There's actually a big difference between the proceeding in the Senate and the proceeding before the Justice Committee. Remember, our parameter here is probable cause only, which simply means a justification to be able to proceed to trial. Doon sa trial, which happens in the Senate, what they determine is the guilt or the innocence of the respondent. Ultimately, the proceeding before the Justice Committee must be judged not on the basis of the label, not on the basis of the terminology, not on the basis of the nomenclature. It should be judged on the entirety of the proceeding that is happening before the Justice Committee. We maintain the position This is not a trial. This is a clarificatory hearing akin to a preliminary investigation. For purposes of our opening statement, that would be all.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon po. Well, you've already clarified about the mini trial. At a press conference po this afternoon, the camp of Vice President Sara Duterte insists that the House intends to conduct a trial. That's why isa po yun sa mga binabanggit nila kaya hindi po sila a-attend. And at the same time, they still question the constitutionality of the overall proceedings. So, having said that, do you still expect the Vice President to attend one of the hearings or sa mga susunod pa po, considering their position?
Well, it's hard really to preempt what will be the mindset or the position of the Vice President on the subsequent hearings. But nevertheless, notwithstanding their non-attendance or non-participation in today's hearing, we are welcoming the participation of the Vice President and her counsel at any stage of our proceeding. As a matter of fact, ito yung matagal nang hinihintay ng taong bayan. Ang kasagutan sa mga alegasyon ng confidential fund, threat, at unexplained wealth. The people are waiting since 2024, and we are really hoping in the Justice Committee that the Vice President will participate and take advantage of this opportunity to answer all the allegations against her.
Yung kay Ramil Madriaga po, for clarification lang po. So what happens po? Ano po yung magiging process ng pagdadala sa kanya dito sa House? Kung sa April 14 ay ina-expect po na papakinggan na po yung testimonya po niya.
Pagka naman po talagang ipapatawag na si Ramil Madriaga, we will have to coordinate with the court and with the BJMP. Kasi siyempre, sila po yung meron talagang jurisdiction over Mr. Madriaga. No? So, pagka meron na pong hearing date, yung pong pag-appear ni April 14, no? Yung pong pagpunta niya, we will have to coordinate with the court and the BJMP relating to that.
In addition to that, in line with our order to issue the subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Madriaga, as well as subpoena duces tecum with regards to his original affidavit, we have directed the Office of the Sergeant at Arms of the House of Representatives, as well as the Office of the Legislative Security, likewise of the House of Representatives, to coordinate with the BJMP and the court to make sure that all measures in line with his protective custody will be observed when he attends the hearing this coming April 14, 2026.
Okay, last question na lang po. Sabi ni VP Sara sa isang statement this morning, parang pangatlong fishing expedition na raw po ito ng House of Representatives. At kanina po, may binabanggit si Kong Rufus regarding dun sa sinasabi ni Kong Terry kanina na he objects because it's a fishing expedition nga daw po.
Alam niyo, entitled naman ho sila sa opinion nila eh. Di ba? Pero the facts are very clear. Meron pong kailangan ipaliwanag ang atin pong pangalawang Pangulo doon sa discrepancy na kanya pong salin ng 2007 at 2024. Yung pong wealth gap between yung cumulative salary ng 30 to 50 million at yung pong 88 million net worth niya in 2024. So yung magpapaliwanag po nitong lahat ng ito, yung pong lahat ng mga isasabpina pong mga dokumento from the BIR, tax payments, tax records, ITR, VAT payments ng mag-asawang Duterte Carpio, at yung pong mga kumpanya po kung saan po nailista sa 2024. May papaliwanag din po yan mula doon sa audited financial statements nung pong kanila pong mga kumpanya na linista rin po sa 2024. Fishing expedition lang ho yun kung wala ho tayong pinagsisimulang mga dokumento. Ang problema meron. nasasalin po mismo ng pangalawang Pangulo.
May I add to that that we will remember that there has been a declaration of sufficiency in form. There has been a declaration of sufficiency in substance. And there has been a declaration of sufficiency in ground. In other words, the committee already ruled on the existence of sufficient basis to proceed to hearing proper. That includes the issuance of subpoena.
Sorry, last na pong pahabol. Sorry po. Na-resolve na po ba yung issue kay Attorney Michael Powa at kay Reynold Munsayak kung paano po yung magiging treatment sa kanila as witnesses po ba or as counsel po ni VP Sara? Kasi sa press con din po today, this afternoon, parang willing naman daw po si Attorney Powa na umattend sa hearing. Babasahin pa lang daw po muna niya yung laman ng subpoena.
Well, ito na po yung pag-step forward, no? Nung pong proseso dito po sa dalawa pong mga abogado. So, meron na pong subpoena on Mr. Powa. So, we will see in the next hearing, no, kung how he will take this particular subpoena. Kasi nabanggit naman halimbawa, yung pong relevancy nung pong kanya pong pag-i-issue po ng subpoena laban sa kanya. Ganyan din po yung mangyayari in the event that a subpoena is issued to Mr. Munsayak. No? So, it will depend on them as to how they will appreciate their attendance to future hearings po.
Ma'am? Ay, sorry. Sir, Kong Raydon, kasi kanina po, I think nag-manifest din si Vice Chair Keith Flores regarding nga po doon sa pinunan niya yung years during na Vice Mayor pa si VP Sara, papasabpi na yung mga documents like BIR at ITR, mga SS, mga GIS. Gayong hindi naman po siya impeachable offense kasi officer during that time. I understand na kwento nyo rin po in detail kanina, pero kind of elaborate lang din, sir. Kasi as much as we wanted to be very careful nga, di ba? Sa umpisa pa lang tinatalakay na dapat medyo cautious tayo doon sa kung paano to, yung pag-usad po ng proseso. Pero sir, hindi ba, yun nga, na-consider din na baka nga matira ulit sa Supreme Court na titignan yung mga taon na hindi naman po impeachable officer ang VP dito sa mga dokumentong to?
Well, clear ho yung relevancy ng mga taon from 2007 to 2024. No? Kasi doon ho yung pagkakumpara at paghambing noon po nga paglaki po ng yaman. At doon po din manggagaling yung po nga pagpapaliwanag kung explainable or unexplainable wealth po ba ito. Kumbaga, we cannot simply rely on existing years, no, from 2022 to date para ho maipakita ito pong pattern na ito. Kasi in the first place, ang paliwanag naman po ng mga supporters po ng pangalawang Pangulo, yung pong kanyang current na kayamanan ay iniluluwal hindi lamang ng kanyang sahod, kundi ng kanila pong mga negosyo, katulad ng ice plant, at nung kanila pong trabaho bilang mga abogado. So, very important ho yung tie. Meron pong tie to the current years Hindi ba? Ng 2022 to 2024. No? So, I don't think magmamatter po yung binabanggit na previous to 2022, hindi po dapat siya kasama. Kasi nga, what we would want to be able to establish is the actual pattern and actual year-on-year growth, no, of all of these financial documents. And we would want to be able to see it. Pwede ho yan kung we are tying them only for impeachment relating to 2007 to 2022. Talagang wala ho tayong pag-uusapan doon. But we are talking about an actually existing SALN for 2023 and 2024. So, doon ho manggagaling yung pagbabatayan ng pong look back going to 2007.
Good afternoon po. Question lang po, kasi dun sa original na letter ni Congressman Jokno, meron po siya dong request for subpoena sa AMLC certification na walang kinalaman yung walang suspicious transaction involving the accounts of the Vice President, her husband, and even former President Duterte. Nandun po sa letter niya. Pero kanina kasi hindi po na-erase.
Yes.
and it was hindi rin po na wala rin pong nag-motion to subpoena the bank records of the Vice President. So, does this mean na hindi na yun on the table, hindi na pwedeng mag-motion about that, or pwede pa rin yun i-put forward, pwede pa rin mag-move yung kahit sinong member ng Justice Committee for subpoena of the bank records of the Vice President at a later part?
Since the request